Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, with the Open Mic Broadcast Network. As you know, we take pride in bringing you inside, in-depth coverage for HBCUs across the land, whether it's MEAC, SWAC, SIAC, whatever. If it's got a cutting edge with HBCU, we are there for you. And today is no exception to the rule. We feel honored, thrilled, excited, and blessed, and whatever other adjective you can add with that, to be able to have on the phone line with us the executive director of the Celebration Bowl, and that's none other than Mr. John Grant. How are you today, sir?
I'm great, man. Thank you for having me on today.
Well, thank you for making yourself available and to share with the Open Mic family, as well as many others who will come in and out. This has been something we were trying to get set up at the MEAC, but with the schedules and everything, it was just an exciting day, but an overall full day, and we were able to come and get together on this backside. So I do thank you for this opportunity.
Okay. Well, excited, like I said, to be here with you, Mike. And, the MEAC Media Day was a great day, and I did get a chance to see you with the line of people, players and coaches that you were interviewing. So it seemed like you had a very busy morning.
An extremely busy morning. It was the same way at the SWAC Media Day as well. We were there for that. And it's a great thing to see, if you allow me to use the buzzword of, it seems, of the new millennium, that the brand from both conferences were strong and kicking very hard.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we can all be proud of the development of both the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference and the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Over the last certainly several years, as both of those conferences have continued to put forth great athletic programs across all of their sports platforms, and we're just delighted at ESPN to be a part of bringing their great talent to our country.
Now, what a lot of people may fail to realize is not just the Celebration Bowl that you guys are intertwined with, but you also have the MEAC SWAC Challenge, which is the beginning of the football season, and then you have this bowl celebration toward the end of the football season. Explain how these bowls became, or these games became, to be as we know them today.
Well, the MEAC SWAC Challenge, which was the inaugural game or relationship and partnership between ESPN, the MEAC, and the SWAC conferences, was launched some 14 years ago. This year will be 14 years, with Commissioner Dennis Thomas and Commissioner Viles at the time for the SWAC, in conversation with Pete Durzis, who is the Senior Vice President for ESPN Events, about the opportunity to bring something, a bowl-like experience for the players for both conferences. Out of that conversation, the MEAC SWAC Challenge was born. The first few games were hosted in Birmingham before it was moved down to Orlando for a number of years, and then certainly last year it was hosted on the campus of Bethune-Cookman. This year we're excited it'll be down in Baton Rouge at Mumford Stadium, where the SWAC will be hosting Southern University, will be hosting the MEAC there against South Carolina State on September 3rd. And that game will be presented live on ESPN2 at 1:30 Central Time. So there's been a long storied history with the MEAC SWAC Challenge, and then of course there were conversations with the commissioners, Commissioner Sharp and Commissioner Thomas, about actually launching a bowl game. And that of course, resulted in the Celebration Bowl being announced in March of 2015, with the inaugural game being held in Atlanta at the Georgia Dome in December. So this year will mark the third year for the Celebration Bowl, and we will certainly be the first bowl game going into, as we call it here, the Benz, the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 16th, and that game will be televised live on ABC.
Now, with all of that being said, you've been at the Georgia Dome for the first 2 seasons. You're now at this monstrous new stadium, which is not too far from, as a matter of fact, right next door to the Georgia Dome. What are some of the things that people that really not involved on the backside of the challenges that you have going from one venue to the next as far as comparisons go in making preparations for this Celebration Bowl?
Well, it's a totally new venue. I mean, as of today, as we speak today, they haven't hosted an event yet. So the first event hosted there will be the Atlanta Falcons on August the 28th. They'll have one of their last preseason games will be hosted. Will be the opening event, and then of course Labor Day weekend. They have some big events with the Chick-fil-A kickoff games. They're going to be doing a double header, one game on Saturday and then another one on Monday. And so that presents, some unique. I won't call them challenges, but just opportunities in itself, because it's like almost having a new event, because you're in a brand new venue, and certainly being able to work through the logistics and the schematics around a new venue, which I will tell you, by the way, is going to be a tremendous experience for fans. It will be a VIP experience for all of our fans this year for the Celebration Bowl at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So those are just some of the things as it relates to around what I'll call the venue and game day. All of our other bowl logistics are not impacted. The things that experiences that we provide for the team, certainly for the fans coming in, and we're just excited about getting going.
We're speaking with the executive director for the Celebration Bowl, Mr. John Grant from ESPN. And as always, it's great to get the experience, but let's be honest, these events have got to be able to generate some positive cash flow. And with that being said, is it difficult or more challenging to sell ads for this bowl game compared to other bowl games, or is it nowhere near what people may think it is?
Well, I want to make sure when you say sell ads, I think let me say that I think bowl games in themselves bring a unique difference from what we at HBCUs and the HBCU community has been accustomed to for years, and that's our orientation is around classics. And those have been our de facto, so to speak, bowl-like type of experiences, which are certainly built around team rivalries and school rivalries. This is very much different because this is a conference rivalry. The MEAC and SWAC are the two Division I conferences in the HBCU space. When you're talking about the level of support and investment that ESPN and the Disney company are making to build a platform that's second to none, and to create a bowl experience for the players in these conferences as well as the fans that are second to none, we're just delighted about the opportunity to be able to be a part of bringing that to our fans, and to help our fans understand that this is a different experience, because you're talking about a championship game here, and this game will certainly crown, as we have in the last 2 years, a champion in Division I football for HBCUs. And with that being said, we're coming into this season, what I'll call tied 1-1. The MEAC won the first year with North Carolina A&T just edging by Alcorn State, and certainly last year representing the MEAC, and then the SWAC won this past year with Grambling squeaking by on North Carolina Central to take the national title. So this year will be the tiebreaker, and we're looking for something very exciting for our fans and the players.
Absolutely. We're calling it the rubber match because there was the buzzword that 1 point short. Grambling comes out with the victory, and that's got to be exciting because the ratings were exceptionally great for that bowl game, which is always a great indicator that you hit something or you struck gold, if you will, as far as ratings are concerned. So when you talk about that, when you're in the war room and you're doing these strategic plans and everything that's going on, how was it to get this experience? I heard you say that the commissioners were saying, hey, we want to create a bold experience. When you're in the war room, what are some of the hurdles that you got to clear out to make sure that everybody has a straight pathway?
Well, for us, I will say the biggest hurdle for us with ESPN is educating fans, and it started out educating, creating, an understanding with the universities of each conference, what the difference is between, of having a bowl game. And it was year one was really sort of a let's wait and see because people didn't quite get it because you think about it in 125 years of HBCU football, outside of the Heritage Bowl, which was short-lived, but still not committed to at the level that the Celebration Bowl is and has been, we've not had anything like this. So, from the FBS or football bowl subdivision, their fans at the beginning of every year are planning to go to a bowl game. They don't know where, but they know they're going to a bowl game, and coaches keep their jobs based on the level of bowl games that they can get their schools into. Certainly with the advent of the college football playoffs and the national championship game as a part of the college football playoffs, that has shifted college football significantly. And the same applies in the HBCU space with the advent of this and the introduction of the Celebration Bowl. It has changed how all of the schools, the coaches, the athletic directors, presidents, and chancellors, view now their, how they build their programs. And certainly that the next thing with that is fans. And having fans to understand, having a major conference rivalry, we want to have our fans there to support no matter who the representative is of the conference. As a member or an alumnus of the conference, you want to be there to support, your team, your conference representative, but also the fact that you can have a chance to, really get the feel of a bowl experience in December.
Absolutely, and it's a great concept. And speaking of that, the numbers have been, fluctuating from year one, even though this is just year three. Talk about that. You just hit on it for a moment, the importance of coming out to support your conference, because this is conference bragging rights. This is SWAC, MEAC. It's bigger than a Prairie View, Texas Southern. It's bigger than North Carolina and North Carolina Central. This is MEAC versus SWAC. So how important is it to make sure that everybody buys into the big picture?
It's extremely important. Just the mere fact that, when you have a stage or like what we have here with the Celebration Bowl, there is, and we are the first game of the college football bowl season. So not only do we have a great bowl game with two great conferences, but we open the college football bowl season on national network television. The Celebration Bowl is one of 3 bowl games to be on network TV, and that speaks volumes for the mere fact that we open the bowl season as a part of the Capital One Bowl series, and then we're bringing 2 conference champions. We're one of the few bowl games that where the champions are competing, and with that being said, that we're in one of the great cities on the planet. I'd like to say Atlanta, Georgia. So you can't ask for more than that, and especially adding the cherry on the top this year with the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is one of the finest, if not the finest. And I would, from my experience and what I've seen, it is the finest sporting venue in the world right now.
It is absolutely a beautiful sight. I've yet to get a chance to walk through there, but and the time in which they got this thing done, they wasn't wasting any time at all, were they?
None at all. I mean, Arthur Blank has been committed, as you well know, to presenting a world-class facility that would give a great unparalleled fan experience. I believe without question that has been accomplished with this venue. We just took a tour last week with the staff from both the MEAC and the SWAC conference offices, and some representatives from ESPN. They just put the field in. We got a good opportunity to turf down. We really got a great opportunity to see the venue in its nearly completed state. And I'll tell you, we're just excited to be able to have that for fans this year.
I was going to say, you're probably like a kid on Christmas Eve. Can't wait to have the package open and everything to see how it goes. We're talking with John Grant, Executive Director for the Celebration Bowl at ESPN. This Celebration Bowl has gotten off to a great start. Is it safe to assume, and I'm using the word assume very loosely, that the Celebration Bowl is going to have some legs to continue to move forward on this point?
Well, I think when you look at the short answer to your question is yes, no, without question. I mean, we have an extended agreement with both conferences, but what I want to focus us on is ESPN has a strong commitment to our entire HBCU college football platform. So just like I mentioned earlier, as I discussed the CFP, the college football playoffs, and what that's meant to Division I or FBS college football, the how we are approaching the HBCU college football platform, our own CFP, so to speak, HBCU college football platform, elevating the MEAC SWAC Challenge to really kick off the college football bowl season on Labor Day weekend on that Sunday. There are no other games that are taking place at the time that this game kicks off, and the game, as I mentioned earlier, will be on ESPN2. We have a great matchup, strong matchup with Southern University that had a great season last year against South Carolina State, also a strong story program. They're coming into this game with Southern leading their matchups over the years 2-1. So I can tell you that Coach Brady Pugh it will have his Bulldogs ready, and I know Coach Odom with the Southern Jaguars, which they haven't had a season opener at home in about 7 or 8 years. So this is going to be great for Southern fans as well. But we're with that game as well as we're televising 13 HBCU games with the MEAC and the SWAC through the season, culminating in the Celebration Bowl. And then, woven into that, we also have our Celebration Bowl Trophy Tour that's sponsored by the Coca-Cola Company. So as you can see, college football across the board is stronger than ever, and HBCU college football is like none other right now, in our opinion, because we are really, really elevating what this means for fans, the platforms for our players, and what we're bringing as we televise these games to the country.
Absolutely. Speaking with Ryan Grant, Executive Director for the Celebration Bowl. You just talked about that MEAC Southern has been the savior, if you will, for the SWAC doing this MEAC SWAC Challenge. They're 2-0, and so if you're a SWAC representative, you say, hey, you got to go in there and go for the trifecta, brothers, and bring back the win. So a lot of excitement going on. Now, I am for HBCUs, but I'm a SWAC product myself, just like I'm not going to cast any shade on my brother Jay. I was there at the MEAC Media Day, and I heard him. I know he's an old Bison, but that's the lure and the fun of having such a vineyard as this to celebrate and highlight. And it's almost finding, if you would, a treasure case of hidden treasures and golds and jewels that have been there but under the radar for so long. And the MEAC SWAC Challenge, the Celebration Bowl, and the ESPN exposure helps to cultivate the rest of the world to what we've been knowing all the time, is that there is some exceptionally high-level ball that's played on this level.
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at, the amount of talent that's attending our universities, but since the advent of the Celebration Bowl and the MEAC SWAC Challenge, but more importantly, the Celebration Bowl, I've spoken with Coach Broadway. I've spoken with Coach McNair, Broadway of North Carolina A&T, Coach McNair down at Alcorn, certainly Coach Fobbs at Grambling, and then Coach Mack at North Carolina Central University, because those are the four schools that have participated in the Celebration Bowl, and to a coach, without question, they have all said that participating in this bowl game has elevated, their recruiting efforts for athletes to participate in their program, and we're seeing certainly a number of FBS players that are transferring out of FBS programs into our HBCU programs as well, and so we believe that is an indication that once fans see and once players see that they can get the national exposure that they're getting from participating in these two conferences with the Celebration Bowl and the MEAC SWAC Challenge, along with our televised games, that we're going to see more and more of those star players looking to HBCUs.
Absolutely. When you brought up that point, I was just saying the other day how you can see a trend of some of these FBS ball players stepping down, where just as little as 10 years ago, that would have been considered a step back, if you will, to step down to the FCS and the HBCUs in particular. But with the elevation of facilities, with the elevation of exposure, it is opening up a whole new tier. Don't know if that's going to have an overall impact of some of your HBCU athletes staying within those conferences, but it is kind of balancing out the playing field. Not total balance out, but it is giving some recognition in a much overdue time span.
Well, let me tell you, I'm an optimist. And so I'm a firm believer that if you build it, they will come. And what we are doing now is working very diligently and to build the platform, and our fans will make the difference. That's why that goes back to our earlier conversation about fans supporting their programs, whether it's supporting the MEAC SWAC Challenge, supporting the Celebration Bowl, supporting your team at home, moving out of the parking lot for our tailgating and into the stands, and rooting our players on. A part of our focus this year is to certainly elevate the play of players, using our television platform along with the Undefeated, because the Undefeated, which is ESPN's new microsite, and that's, the undefeated.com. The undefeated.com, which is a huge place where they have a vertical for HBCUs, is going to be an integral part of our promotion of the players from these conferences and the coaches from these conferences. So we're looking this year to make stars out of players and stars out of our coaches as well. And so a big part of that also comes down to, fans supporting the athletes on the field. And we believe that we're beginning to see that more and more as we evolve our HBCU college football platform and bring more and more attention to players that came out this year and were drafted, like Tariq Cohen out of North Carolina A&T and Chad Williams, who came out of Grambling. who went to the Arizona Cardinals, and Tariq Cohen to the Chicago Bears. We think that as we, again, create more visibility, build the platforms, that we're going to see more fan engagement and more of those players coming back and taking a look at HBCUs. Speaking with Ron Grant, director, I keep getting you your title, Executive Director of Celebration Bowl, and this is the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, and we're talking in depth about the Celebration Bowl, the MEAC SWAC Challenge, and the importance of fans coming out to these games and supporting these games. It's one thing to get on your social media and talk about the smack talk that goes on between rivals or whatnot, but it makes a difference when butts are in the seats. Brother Grant, I was just going to say, I'm about to turn this over to you right now, and I want you to just speak to the listeners right now on the plus sides of them coming and experiencing this thing for themselves. Let me tell you, HBCU football, as I said earlier, is stronger than ever. You have young players, or these young men who put in a lot of work and effort to represent their universities at home during the regular season, but also they're playing very hard for the opportunity to earn a place and a shot to represent the conference at the Celebration Bowl. So fans, as they do their part, we have to do our part. The MEAC SWAC Challenge and the Celebration Bowl present unique opportunities in our HBCU space, specifically as it relates, to what ESPN is doing to continue to bring top quality sports to fans around the country. And these two properties, along with our regular season games and paired with the undefeated, are the best platforms that one can have to showcase our institutions, not just the sport of our institution, but the residual impact of these great football national televised properties are the following. North Carolina A&T's applications for their fall semester last year brought in a record number of in their freshman class in August of 2016. Alcorn State, they can't bring any more students because they don't have housing, so they're to build new housing because their enrollment also exploded. North Carolina Central will have a record freshman class this year in the history of their university, and Grambling State University has experienced the same type of student enrollment uptick by virtue of the visibility that these games, the MEAC SWAC Challenge and the Celebration Bowl, are providing. And so we know that we will see that happen with universities across both of the conferences as we continue to create the level of exposure for our HBCUs to young people across the country. Now, with that being said, our responsibility as fans certainly are to be there to support it, but also to watch it, because ratings matter as well as your attendance. Your attendance matters, but ratings matter also. So if you can't come for whatever reason, watch it. If you can't watch it for whatever reason, turn your television on anyway. And if you can come, turn your TV on, time it to come on, and come to the game so we can get your presence and the ratings. Sounds like the ultra plan, sir. As a matter of fact, we plan to be there with bells on. I'm going to be rooting for the winner, unless it's Prairie View. How is that? Well, if it is Prairie View, that means that the SWAC has taken home the title this year. As you said in the rubber match, we like to liken this to Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier with the Thriller in Manila. The Thriller in Manila. All right, then. So, except this will be the Thriller in the Benz. The Thriller in the Benz. The Thriller in the Bend.
we might have to work on that promo, but we can get something dug up on that. That's some good stuff. That is some good stuff, because now I do want to turn the corner just for a moment. We'll get back on course. Is there any other discussions about possibly transferring this over to basketball, baseball concepts?
We haven't had direct conversations on that as of yet. That doesn't say that won't be a possibility for the future, but keeping in mind that this is, the bowl game's only 2 years old. In the scheme of bowl games, we're still a young infant, and what we want to make sure, and our commitment is to ensuring that we build a world-class property, that we refocus on our entire platform for HBCU football, which we are doing this year, and I think fans will be pleased to see what we put forth as it relates to our television matchups this year. We got some great TV matchups during the season. We certainly start out with a great matchup with South Carolina State and Southern University. Like I said, Southern leads that 2-1 right now. So South Carolina State has an opportunity to tie it up. But I will tell you, the MEAC has kind of dominated as a conference, the MEAC SWAC Challenge, and in our meeting last week, Commissioner Sharp has recommitted that they'll be certainly sending their best teams to the MEAC SWAC Challenge, which we are certainly encouraging to open up college football in a big way. And that's important when, again, as I mentioned earlier, that you see no one would ever thought several years ago that, say, a number 1 Alabama will be playing a number 2 or 3 Florida State on opening weekend. I mean, those schools always had what I'll call soft games opening up the season. Well, now, if you look across the board, this year's opening season or Labor Day weekend for college football will be, the largest, meaning in terms of the number of top-level matchups in the history of college football. So we're going to make sure that's the same that same level of emphasis also takes place with our opening game with the MEAC SWAC Challenge.
Well, you just hit on something. If I could try to touch, we know that there's been a big major announcement from the Southwest Athletic Conference that this year will be the last year of the SWAC championship games, as has been known since 1999. And part of that decision-making process, I am assuming, because you just made mention, to have the best schools represented from that particular conference. Alcorn, and it's not any fault of their own, they have been representation of the East, with 5-4 conference records coming in to play maybe a 9-3 or 8-1 MEAC school, and people being finicky at times say, well, that's not the best of the SWAC, but we got the best from the MEAC. Do you think that was some of the decision-making process to eliminate the championship games, so whoever the top dog is from the SWAC will go up against the top dog from the MEAC, which could and should generate more interest?
Well, certainly, I'm not privy to the inner workings of the decision of the SWAC presidents and chancellors. In my conversations and with public statements, certainly from Commissioner Sharp, the chancellors and presidents, looked at the viability of the SWAC championship game as it relates to the conference's commitment also to the Celebration Bowl, and just felt that it would be best to not have fans making a choice. First and foremost, to go, to have decided to go to the SWAC championship, and then to turn right around and have to go, come to Atlanta for the Celebration Bowl from a fan perspective. And I can get that, because I do know that in the last couple of years, it has been a difficult choice. It's been difficult on fans to do so. But more importantly, at least from our perspective, I think the SWAC is sort of putting a stake in the ground, as the MEAC has put a stake in the ground and ESPN put a stake in the ground. We've all pushed our chips to the middle of the table and said, okay, you know what, we want to make sure that this Celebration Bowl becomes, along with others, a preeminent bowl game to showcase both the MEAC and SWAC member schools, in a major way. And I certainly, speaking on our behalf, applaud the fact that we're now, all three of us are all in on this hugely unique opportunity to elevate our HBCUs on a national platform. We had 15.7 million households tuned into the Celebration Bowl last year. 15.7 million households. And when you think of 41 bowl games, we're 19 out of 41 in total ratings last year. And we're a 2-year bowl game, and that's total bowl games. But on a final note, when you look at the fact that when you think about our peer bowl games, that's games played before New Year's Eve, there are 25 of those bowl games. We're number 2 in TV ratings, and we're 2 years old. So when you put all of those factors into play, and you look at the what this bowl game means, the payout that the schools and the conference receives, I think the chancellors and presidents, after they evaluated everything, from what I've heard, that was the decision they made, and we believe it's the right one.
Well, we got it. All lines have been drawn. The stakes are in. The MEAC, the SWAC, and ESPN have created the pyramid, if you will, which is the strongest foundation known to man. And let's see how this foundation continues to build and grow. Brother Grant, we are truly thankful for this opportunity for you to enlighten our listeners and to bring about a perspective of the Celebration Bowl. I want to hold you to the fire and make sure that we keep in contact throughout the course of this year and the years to come. And with that, I'm going to give you the final word for this segment.
Well, Mike, thank you again for having us on, and certainly, without question, it is people like you and program like yours that continue to allow us and to bring this message about the opportunity we have for our HBCU college football platform to really grow it, and especially for us today who own the responsibility for making sure that it is successful in the future by supporting it, by discussing it, by encouraging our fans and our fellow fans, our supporting the players who get up and play this game every day as they work hard to represent the university. We in turn owe them the opportunity to support them. So I want to thank you again for the chance to communicate this to your fans, and we're looking forward to seeing you in Atlanta. Oh, I'm sorry, the battle. We should probably call this the battle at the Benz. The battle in the Benz.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was we can start from there. I think that's a good start right there. The battle at the Benz. That is good. That's good. Well, I'll call you. I want to call everybody doctor these days. Well, Brother Grant, we are truly appreciative of this opportunity to get the message and the platform going. He is the Executive Director of the Celebration Bowl. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. As always, it's a thrill and an honor to bring you, the listeners, what you asked for, and that is in-tune, in-depth coverage of all HBCUs. As always, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.